Okay, good morning. My name is Ruth Amancio. I'm with Enviro Services with a contract with DOT Highways. So I'm just going to cover in brief what you have in your manual regarding safety. Even though it's kind of short, it's very pertinent to you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, roadside work is definitely hazards. There's the worker, your co-workers, and then you've got the public, you cannot control them. You've got the pedestrians, you cannot control them, and also traffic. So you only can control yourself and your co-workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know they do the turn fast with the cops about the towing on the lights or something? You know, they turn fast and bill for the towing trucks. And they wanna, when you see the light, they wanna empty one lane and go to the next lane. Is any of our people gonna
Go to that? I have no idea.
We need them, man. They're doing it for the tow trucks and because of the last cop that just
Correct.
you know the last cop that just passed away.
Yeah, because of
I want to
assisting.
know if there's anybody representing
DOT.
us, us on the road. Are they gonna do something for us, like when they come up to a blinking light, to slow down, because they're saying if you don't, they're gonna take it. So I want to know if anybody from our
from DOT side is going to be present during. This is the first I'm hearing of it. Ken, are you aware of any such legislations coming forward?
As far as I know, legislation only targets emergency responders, which would be police, fire, ambulance, and maybe the tow truck responding to an emergency. As far as day in, day out, traffic control, people working on the side of the road,
Nothing.
I don't think the law is going to be applicable to that situation. But
Is anybody gonna present that for us? Because it's bad. You know why? Tow trucks got the blue light. We don't have blue lights.
What do you mean the tow truck have blue light?
No, they got the blue lights with them. You know what I mean? But we don't have them. So when you see a blue light, you're gonna stop. Oh, they're not stop. It's not. I mean, I think it's dangerous for them. It's dangerous. It's dangerous out there. I was wondering if anybody on the is gonna check them out.
Well, I can see your concern. I think this definitely should be moved forward, but that's more specific to the TTC, the temporary traffic control. Can go into it further. Yeah. I'm just going to cover the safety in general. Yeah, but good topic to bring up. And because of all the past and current events that have happened in regards to response on the roadways, yes, for you guys, it is definitely critical because your life is on the line, bottom line. Okay, let's get back. So accidents never just happen, they are caused. Bottom line, yeah. Okay, safety standards to follow. Okay, everybody's aware of HIOSH, HDOT, and then Ken is going to cover a little bit further the NUTCD, the work zone traffic control. If ever you guys are interested on your own, you can always go look up these items, especially HIOSH. You go into hawaii.gov/labor, and then their webpage is going to come up, and you can find a whole bunch of interesting information for yourself and everything else. Just put in their search engine what topic you're looking for. Okay, safety requirements prior to start of work. This is usually it's called a HAS, but because DOT is looking for a site specific, because for your work area, you're working in different zones, different areas, different speed, and different locations. So you would need to follow whatever is in your site-specific health and safety plan. That plan needs to meet or exceed federal or state regulations. Since we have a state OSHA office. We have to follow HIOSH, as you saw in the prior slide. Okay? So if you go, this guy's going to be real fast. If you go to your manual and turn to page 36, you see item number 1. Those are the components that should be in your HASP. Or if you, like contractors, if they work for federal government, it's also known as APP, Accident Prevention Plan. Okay? What it does is it tells us that, one, your company is committed to work safely, and these are the people responsible for the company, people responsible out in the field. This is how we're going to do our work safely. This is our JHA, job hazard analysis. That means you look at each job or task and you break it down into potential hazards. This is how we're going to prevent injury. And for the APP on the federal side, they call it an AHA. Same thing, activity hazard analysis. It's still identifying what are the hazards, how are you going to prevent it. The thing is, with the JHA and even your site-specific safety plan, as you work, things come up on a daily basis. So you need to go and make your adjustments, revisions in the field. Now, when you do it in the field, you got to let the engineer know, hey, I had to do a change in my activity or my job task because this is what we found. We found another hazard came up or another potential hazard that can happen, and we need to address it now. Okay? So revisions on these documents, your HASP or JHA or AHA or APP, all these acronyms are going to come out at you. You got to send it over to the engineer so he's aware what's happening. It goes to the inspector. When the inspector comes out in the field, he's not going, oh my gosh, they're not following what they said we had accepted. Okay? So certifications, responsibilities, identification of competent or qualified persons. For certain standards that HIOSH or OSHA has, you need to have competent people. If you have, say, a forklift operator, they need to be a competent person. They need to go in for formal training and come out with a card. Every time they operate that forklift, that card needs to be on them, because if a compliance officer, HIOSH or OSHA, should pass by, they're going to ask that operator, you're operating that equipment. I want to see that you are certified to do so. You know the hazards, how to work it, what to do regarding maintenance, if something should break down, you know, the whole 9 yards. So that card has to come out, okay? So in that HASP is the name of the competent person and the qualified person. Competent person is somebody that the company says, I know you've got the work experience, I know you've got the knowledge, you're my competent person. Qualified person is somebody who has gone to school, has the knowledge, the certificate, and can go in and say for scaffold. This scaffold that you guys put up meets up with the requirements, 1, that the manufacturer gave, and 2, is in compliance according to the regulations. So a qualified person puts on the tag saying, good to go. Usually it's a green tag saying, scaffold can be used, okay? So competent person is somebody with the working knowledge. Owner says, you my competent person, you know what you need to do. If there's a hazard, you can make the changes and do good. Qualified person is the guy who went to the school, came out, has a certificate and all the formal education in regards to that. So be aware, competent and qualified, they don't really mean the same. According to the standards, competent person, the boss says, you my competent person. You handle everything out in the field, just let me know what happens. Qualified is specific to different standards, okay? And additional elements of the HAS, traffic control, coordinator, local emergency numbers, hazard communication, MSDS, JHA, all of this needs to be submitted with the HAS, okay? So what they do is, when they write up the HAS, they take a look. What is my scope of work? What is it that I have to do? And then they go, oh, I gotta have one forklift operator, or oh, I gotta work in one aerial lift or boom truck. Oh, that means fall protection. So all of that, all of these elements have to be in that plan. Now, the thing is, you see this one here, hazard communication, MSDS. That's a separate standard. That's 1910.1200. That's your hazard communication standard, also known as employee right to know. You, the employee, you, the worker, have the right to know what kind of hazards, chemicals you're working with, how to use it properly, how to store it, how to, if spills happen, how to clean it up, where does it go, all that, the whole 9 yards. Now, the thing is, because you're not in a facility, you're out in the field, but you're using the chemical, okay? That MSDS should be in a binder in your truck. Common things that compliance officers have found, especially people, contractors, you guys working out in the field, if a compliance officer should see one of you guys applying herbicide, pesticide, whatever, they can go out and stop you and ask you, where's the MSDS? And that's one of the highest citations, yeah? Meaning a common standard that they can cite. So MSDS to you guys is just a piece of paper, but no, there's good information on it. Familiarize yourself with it. You working with it, have it in your trucks. Before you use it for that day, pull out the MSDS and go, hey guys, we're gonna be using this. This is what we need to know. Whoever the applicator is, they need to know how to apply it. Everybody else needs to know, stay away from it, okay? So please read the MSDS and have it readily available. That's what the standard says. Whenever somebody's using a chemical, it needs to be readily available. You guys are out there in the field. It's kind of hard to say, oh, stay back at the office, stay back at the shop. The compliance officer is not going to accept it. You got to have this. And it's such an easy thing to do. Get a binder together, whatever chemicals you're working with, have it there for that day or days that you're using this, okay? Sorry, I'm preachy about it, but this is one of the simplest things that you guys can avoid. Just as an FYI, last year, legislature passed to increase citations for HIOSH. They used to be 7,000. They increased it by 10%, so it's now 7,700. Okay? That's how much they're going to have to pay out. Okay, so free and helpful advice is available at the HIOSH office. Okay. That's their number. Consultation branch. That's who you want to call. The 586-9105. Consultation. They have 2 departments now. Consultation, free, freebie, call them, use them. And then you have compliance. You don't want to call compliance. You call them in, they're going to do their inspection, and they're going to write you up. They're going to give you, oh, in violation, violation, violation. Oh, serious, willful, all that money is attached to that side of the house. Consultation, they will come in and do a courtesy inspection. They will let you know what you're doing good what you're doing not so good, and then what you need to correct. Anything they identify that needs to be correct must be corrected, okay? And they will tell you, okay, this looks like you can correct it within maybe about 15 days, okay? If you correct it right then and there, they go, oh, wow, they have good intentions. They're willing to comply and follow the rules, okay? I don't have to worry about these guys. The thing is, if they come back, say, oh, I want to come back and double check. I did a free consultation for you guys. I want to make sure that the things that I identified that seem kind of serious means somebody can get hurt. I want to make sure that you've corrected it so this condition doesn't exist. If you didn't do any correction, he has no choice now to refer it over to compliance. And then compliance come in, they've got information, and they're going to double check if you have any prior incidents listed in their computer log, and they will bring it all up, and they will do their compliance. One thing when the consultation happens, if there is a life-threatening condition, saying there's potential for somebody to get killed or die or a fire or an explosion, they have to call compliance. So that's the, double standards behind it. Make sure when you do the free consultation, your facility looks pretty okay and everybody is aware they're coming in. So it's a double-edged sword. But it's good to have them because when you call in consultation, compliance cannot come in for 30 days. That's just an agreement they have in-house. So your name is on their record, and then say compliance comes up with your name, like Paradise. Oh, consultation came in, I cannot touch them, okay? So it's good to use these guys. They're free, okay? Okay, I mentioned this before. Any revisions for the HAS or even to your JHA, your APP, AHA, let the engineer know, because they have to be aware, because it goes to the inspectors. Inspectors are the ones who come out into the field to verify the work you're doing, how it's being done, and if you're following what was said in the scope of work and the contract documents. Okay? So when working in the highway, ROW, wear your OSHA-approved safety equipment. Hard hats, safety glasses, gloves, shoes, vest. Okay? Okay, some basic precautions. You have class 2 and then class 3, and then I'll have Ken go a little bit more into detail, since this is actually covered further in the MUTCD portion. Okay? Okay. Fall protection. I mentioned that if you're working, on a boom truck, aerial lift, there is that requirement that you have to have fall protection, meaning full body harness with the lanyard and your hookup point, not just dangling in the back of you, but in that man basket is an anchor point. You gotta hook up, because that fall protection equipment not going to help you if you accidentally topple over, or if you decide to go above the railing, try to get something higher, and you tip over, you fall into the ground. That's it, bottom line, because you're not anchored off, okay? The safety equipment that you use is only as good as the care that you give it in maintenance, storage, and actually using it accordingly. Famous thing also, forklift operator or anybody in heavy equipment, there's a seat belt. Use it. Use it. When you jump in, no matter how short a ride, there's a seat belt. Put it on, buckle up. That's actually a citation, and it's a common one that compliance officers love. All they have to do is they see you driving by and they go, oh, look, the seat belt just dangling over there, okay? Right up, right there, okay? So back to the falls, if you noticed, it's 14%, and it's fatal. You die Okay. So this is a breakdown of all the different types of injuries that resulted in death. Okay. So as you can tell, look, transportation incidents, 39%. 39%, like you have mentioned. Okay. The next one is, this is the workplace violence, assault violent act, 18%. Okay. So when you come to work, everybody say, oh no, I don't bring my personal stuff. When you come to work, try to not bring your personal stuff. Cool down, calm down. And I'm sure everybody has workplace violence programs, procedures. Be aware of what's in there. Be aware of what the disciplinary actions are. Okay? Okay? And then next to, the third is contact with objects and equipment. That meaning getting struck by, caught between, getting smashed. And then falls. And then sometimes what's interesting with falls is you don't have to be really high up to fall. You can also be like 4 feet off the ground, fall over, and the way you fall may create to your death. So that's why falls. Anytime you work, always be focused, be in the zone when you work, be attentive to what you do, where you are, and how you're doing your work. Okay. Always inspect also your equipment prior to use. Okay, and then they also talk exposure to harmful substance, environment, and then the smallest and last one is the fire and explosions. Okay. All right. Oh. Okay, so some basic precautions regarding working in the roadway area, face oncoming traffic. And then for your fertilizers, pesticides, or any type of chemicals that you're using, read, follow the labels, make sure you have your MSDSs readily available in the vehicle. Use sun protection, also have enough water, take breaks. Yes?
How high do you have to be to get water protection? Is there a minimum?
Okay. How high or what is the height requirement? For general industry, like you guys, 4 feet. For construction, 6 feet. Okay? So just remember, magic number 4. Because I believe Chris had sent out a memo, and what had happened was there was a compliance officer, I think this was last year, March, that got called, a complaint came in, and it was workers in the planter boxes, the elevated planter boxes by the airport, and the workers were not hooked up. So the compliance officer came by, saw that they were in an infraction, deficiency not wearing, and when he asked the guys, oh, are you aware that this is a fall protection issue? Worker go, yeah. My fall protection over there, not wearing it. So of course, that's a citation. Okay. So because it was our contractor and HDOT, okay, us. So when I came in last year, they asked me, oh, Ruth, can you help out? So I said, let's have a meeting with Jennifer Shishito. So we called a meeting, we sat down with her, and the contention that we had with her was, is this general industry or is this construction? Her compliance officer said, this is general industry, and that's why I said 4 feet. He said, general industry because it's not constructing, you are maintaining what is currently there, and the planter boxes do not have guardrail systems. So we go, okay, so what do you want us to do? So she mentioned, well, just to let you know, May 2012, what they're going to be doing is they will be saying that everybody needs to be using fall protection equipment or some sort of fall protection measures, proactive. Okay, proactive meaning You got to think before you put up something. If there's a potential for a fall, you either put in a guardrail or you make a system where the guy who's going to work in there will not fall over. Okay? So we said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We will be requiring anybody going into elevated planter boxes to use a fall protection system. And that's how we were able to get a variance from HIOSH. So that means anybody who goes into these planter boxes need to be in a full body harness, hooked up. No, there is. Hooked up to an anchor point to do the work. What the contractor did is they had met initially with the engineer and were given the information that the planter boxes, the way it's built, they would be able to hook up to the weep point, the drainage area. Yep. So that's how they hooked up. The thing is, if this is the freeway, right, to go to the planter boxes, right, you get that gap. They came up with a ramp, and that ramp also had rail system, so that, I mean, you have to also look at not falling over. So their ramp had top, mid, toe board, okay? And then, yeah, and they also had, I think it was plywood. I think maybe 3/4 inch plywood, okay? So they put that down. The lanyard that they had was a two-legged, a Y, okay, a Y system. So what they did was they hooked up to their vehicle, which is allowed, as long as what they're hooked up to is welded to the truck bed, okay? So they hook up, assemble, you go across, you hook up to the planter boxes. Now he got to go back because he got to work in the planter box. Detach, planter box, do work. Okay, so that means he is protected from falling at all times. It's something new because normally you go just one chicken board or plank, drop them, walk across, do the work, hurry up, done, right? No. And that's a citation if you don't address the fall issues. Talk to the arborist. Okay, so keep in mind, we did have a meeting with HIOSH, and because the compliance officer said that type of work is general industry, height is 4 feet, magic number, 4. That's all you have to remember is number 4. If you reach that 4, you better start thinking of fall protection. But like he said, look for other kind of plants so you don't even have to go in there. Okay? Any other questions on that one? Okay. And then wear your helmets or hard hats where necessary. And then they also talk about safety chaps. Normally that's with the weed eater. Oh, but definitely if you're using target saw, chainsaw, definitely. Or any other dangerous tool. So the way you can find out is the JHA, Job Hazard Analysis, or AHA, Activity Hazard Analysis. It also lists the type of PPE you should be using when you operate the various equipment. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Thank you.